Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, it's suddenly come on. Lovely to see you all here, and thanks ever so much for joining me. Looks like we're still getting some nice weather around, which is good. And I would just like to say good morning to all the lovely animals that are watching just at the moment. I'm sure there may well be some more. But saying hello to Lexi, new little puppy. I'm sure you saw that on the Facebook page. And Blue and Willow, Teddy, Minnie, Bruno. I can't think of all their names. Shouldn't think Sam's watching because he's always got better things to do. And Wilma. Hope they're all watching. Anyway, so I am doing a bit of a revisit on a Wednesday, and I'm sure some of you have already got these dies, so let's grab them and let's have a go with them. So the dies that I'm going to be using today are the square scene box. Has been around for ages, and there are a few more been brought back in again, which is lovely. So I'm going to be using that. I'm also going to be using the Stamford die because that goes so well with this one. So I'm going to use that. I've also got the classic poinsettias. I've got Leslie's twigs, and I've also got aster leaves. So loads to show you and loads to deal with. So this square scene box die set, excuse me, was actually meant to be a card as well as a card front. And I often use it as a card front only. So I thought today I'd make it into a proper bespoke card on its own. Going to be using hints of gold and hints of off-white, coconut white, so that it's not too brash and in your face, a sort of a gentle one. Done a bit of Kaleido work today as well, so I'm going to show you some of that. So let's get on, shall we? So let's put some of this to one side, and I'm first of all going to cut my die shape out. So the die comes in 3 dies. If you have got the old set, it will come with 4, which is another inner die, but we're not going to be using that today. So this is the outer die. Going to need to cut it on an A4 cutting machine. Oh, hi Carol, and happy birthday to you in Australia, even if it is nearly all done. I'm going to put it at an angle in my A4 machine so that I can cut all those pieces. Cuts out very, very well, but with also creases and cutting lines, you will see in just a moment. Okay, so let's put that through our machine. And I've already cut out some other bits and pieces so that you can see that we don't have to sit and watch all that as well. So let's just cut this piece out so you can see. And I take that off. Save those bits of tape for just a second. You can see when I take it off that we have got some folds here, some places to fold and some places that are already cut, which is rather handy. And let's pop that back. Now I want to cut from this. Let's take that white piece away because I do want it. I'll take it away. I'm going to use my aperture now. So I'm going to use my Stamford die. So that's going to go into the center. And I want it to be an aperture. This has got no cutting edge, so it will just cut out like that otherwise. And I want to pop in my center piece there. Okay, so I'm going to pick up using a long piece. I pick up that middle die there and then hover over the top. Whoops. Trying to get that into place. I reckon that's about right. Pick that up and bring that back in and then pop that as far as I can into the center of my scene there. And then pop that back into my machine. It's a square, so it doesn't really matter which way around it goes. I am going to put a metal shim over it because it's quite a detailed die, and the card I'm using, which is the foundation card, because that's sturdy, it is rather sturdy, it is thick, and therefore it's going to just be a little bit more noticeable. So let's just check. Yeah, cut that out beautifully. Okay, so we'll take that away. And you can see that that has left virtually everything has gone and left you with just a few bits to poke out, a very pretty edge all the way around here. So you've got like a little stitched edge here, and you've also got this lovely trellis work there, which is nice too. So now, before I put all of those things away, just scoop those extra bits, I want to put sort of like an insert to this to back this trellis work here. So I'm going to clear all those little bits off. I'm going to take a piece of my coconut white card and I'm going to cut that to just under 12.5, just under, sort of like 12.2 or 4 3/4 if we're going to be in inches. Now, it does give us a bit of a leeway, so that's handy. But what I want to do is to use this die only and cut this out from my centerpiece. So I'm just going to sort of, if I possibly can, get that central. I could use the graph paper, but hey ho. So I'm just going to pop that into there, and that's just going to cut out for me just the aperture. Just get my plates together here and just pop that into there. Just there. And I just want to give a little bit of a sort of an oomph to it. It's going to have a lot of oomph by the time it's finished. Ooh, nearly crash bang all up then. And I'm going to peel that off because I want to keep that for in a minute. So I'm going to bring my die back in, and then you can see that I'm going to place that behind, and it's going to make that really, really pop, which I think looks fab. So when I turn that over, pop it in there, if we've if we've cut it even just at that measurement, which I said was 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, or about 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters, just above, that just fits in this line here and goes in just right. So I'm going to stick that down, and in order to do so, I'm going to put glue onto my base bit here, so close to the edge of my actual aperture, and then also to this little line here. Always, of course, using dry as clear glue so that if I get it in the wrong place, it don't matter. So just slide that in over there, press that down. Of course, this is the back of the die, so no one's going to see this bit. Just make sure that's all shut, all that done. And then when we turn it over, it's got that lovely, so it really shows off all of the trellis work. And obviously you could put any colour behind it. Any colour looks good. So now we've got these score lines, and we need to now fold those along the score lines and burnish them so that they are nice and sharp. One of the, I think possibly the most crucial points of this is to literally burnish that within an inch of its life. So nice crisp folds. Obviously you do want to have a sturdy card base for this, because this is going to be your main card. But it is difficult to fold sometimes if the card is too strong, so you've got to try and find that happy medium really, and I find that this one works nicely, but there's lots of others. The linen card works really well as well, but I think it needs to be at least a 230 sort of GSM. So there's all our folding bits apart from our little tabs. Just fold them in and they are going to form our box like that. Okay, so that will be, when I turn that over, that will be our little box like that. Okay, so now we want to pop these bits together. Let's do that first. So I'm going to use some red liner tape. No, let's just use the glue glaze. You could use either. I will be using the power tape in a minute, but I think that this will be all right for this. So crucial thing, getting these together so that that's absolutely square, and just holding on, or obviously if you've got your tape, just making sure that that goes exactly there, and then this one also at right angles. Okay, just let that grab, bringing that down there. Like that. I'm then going to get my glue again and just pop a little bit of glue down there and down there, and then just hold that in at the back and also on that side. And again, try your best to keep that absolutely square if you possibly can. You can get little pegs and things like that to hold it all into place, and it looks so much nicer if you can get it all into place like that. So I'm then going to go up this end and just thinking which way to do it. I think I will do it. Yeah, I will. You can put the backing on either inside or outside. I'm going to put it on outside. And what I mean by that is that my backing will be stuck to this side because my border here is so wide that I can't see it. I can't see inside the border. And as it's going to be the same colour, it really won't matter too much. So I'm going to do it like that because it is a bit easier. Just holding that down. And then finally, these little tabs here. Like so. And again, try your best to keep that absolutely square if you can. Like that. Okay. Do I water the glue down? That's not watered down. That's how it comes, Julie. Certainly wouldn't water that one down because that's strong. And actually, no, I don't water the glue down when I'm using it, to be honest with you. It isn't something that I would do, I don't think. So here is my background. Cut out a piece here, and that is now going to be taped straight onto the back like that, or taped, glued onto the back. I can use my other glue for this one. So pop some glue down, or you could use your power tape, whichever you think you fancy the most. Just hold that, turn that over, and then with my bone folder I can just go round the inside, just pressing down firmly so that that's all stuck. Now normally if you've got a different colour insert, you would want to be putting it on from the inside, in which case you'd tape all your three sides, but you'd leave one side open so that you can just slip this insert down. But because this Stamford die hides it really well, you can't see that bit anyway, so I think that's okay to do it from the outside. And then this little piece is going to be the lid, because we're making it into a proper card. So I cut this out of this die, which it comes with the kit. You've got a fold piece there, but the rest of it is an outer piece that cuts it out like this. This obviously can be decorated as well. And the only trick to say with this is that when you've got that fold piece there, you do need to just make sure that you fold it a couple of times backwards and forwards so that it gets used to opening, because it's going to be the front of the card, so it needs to get used to opening. Subsequently, you also don't want to use a piece of card for the front, so something like mirror card or something like that, that is going to crack easily. So some cards will crack it easily, and you don't want to do that either. So I'm going to put onto here some of my power tape or ultra tape onto there. Just stick that down, and that's going to go on as my sort of lid. Look at that with the fingers, hey? You thought you'd be there all day, didn't you, watching me? But no. So I'm going to hold that into position, and then, so it's just covering my card like that. And then I'm simply going to fold that over and stick it down. And that fits perfectly over there. And then when you open it up, that is your actual card. Okay, so I want to put something in the centre. Now, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm thinking that the piece that I cut out for this cream piece, that fits in there quite nicely, possibly, and potentially with that in the centre. However, I'm not 100% sure, because there's a possibility, I can't get it out, there's a possibility that I might put that on there and then put that in some form or another on the front of my card. A bit more embellishment. I'm not sure yet, because in the centre, I just want to use my Kaleidoed flowers. So let's just put that to one side. Now, I'm going to use the poinsettias. So sort of about 9 o'clock-ish this morning, a couple of hours ago, I used my Kaleido pad and my Kaleido, whatever it's called, liquid ink, to stamp up this. This is the classic poinsettia stamp set that goes with the classic poinsettia die. And I think it looks really beautifully foiled. So that's what we're going to go for today. So I've stamped that and left it for a couple of hours. I find that works best. I've then got some gold Kaleido foil, and I'm just going to fold that over the top. And I'm going to have to walk over to my other machine, so bear with me. And I'm just going to pop that on. Talk amongst yourselves whilst I'm doing it. Keep talking. Keep on talking. Okay, so ran that through my Kaleido machine, and then hopefully the reveal is we've now got beautifully foiled poinsettias. Don't they look lovely? Really, really nice. Do love the effect that that gives. So I've got my plate. Need to get that round the right way. And just pop that into position, and I'll just run that through my machine, and that's going to give us not only the lovely poinsettias, but with that little bit of posh. Yeah, we can do posh again, can't we? Just running that through. And then just pop those out so that we've got some flowers. I did do another one earlier as well, because I might want to use more flowers. I'm not quite sure yet. So we shall see. Throw the excess of that away. So I've got a fair few here to be playing with. I'm going to make some of those up. And as I said, I've also got some aster leaves, which is in the satin gold, and some Leslie's twigs. Okay, so bringing my little card in, just going to make up possibly just one in the middle. So I'm just going to fold them up. I'm going to fold them down like this, all the petals down like that, and then just push them up so that it sort of breaks that centerpiece there. And we're going to do that in all of the sizes, exactly the same thing. So just sort of bending them in half and pressing them up. So I'm putting my finger behind the flower so that I've sort of got something to bend over. Yeah. So that I'm curling it around my finger. But you could, if you wanted to do, you could put a pencil there or a bone folder, something that's behind it that you can just mold it if you don't feel that you can do it the other way. But they don't have to be perfect. They just need to be folded, really. So let's get the sizes right. That one, that one, that one, and then the Diddy one. Oh no, wait a minute. Is that one that size? No. Gosh, there's so many. Not sure if I'm going to put them all on. Just looks so beautiful. I think I'm going to take this one from here, which is the biggest one on the other one. And I'm just going to do that because I just like to have a double piece at the other end. Yeah, something like that. Let's sort of gather that together. So I'm going to take my glue, Craft Artist glue glaze. And I'm going to pop these together with, of course, the petals in between the petals on the top layer, in between the petals on the bottom layer. I'm just going to stick that. Bear in mind, I am sticking onto foil, so let's hope that that works. So again, alternating them, like a ball tool, so I've got something to hold on to. Just press that down until that grabs. And then the next layer. And again, top layers, petals in between the bottom layers, petals, so that it looks more realistic and more, it's nothing worse than them all falling. I had that the other day. I was making a different sort of poinsettia, and no matter which way, it did not want to sit like this one is doing. This one's behaving. We like this one. But the other one I was doing just wanted to, every petal wanted to sit exactly onto this, like that's doing now. It just twists around. You're not. You're not. You'll do it as I want to do it. Thank you. You've got to talk to them like that, you know. I know it's a bit of card, but you've got to talk to them like that. Okay, I don't think I want that second one in. But how beautiful is that, eh? Just love it. Yeah, what colour am I using? It's coconut white. Nothing special. It's just literally the colour of the card. I wanted to have a cream rather than a white. If I bring a piece of white card in, you can see the difference. Oh, maybe you can't there. I don't know. But it's not such a stark white, and I didn't want it a stark white. I wanted it more of a creamy colour. So that's what I'm using for that. And I think it's on the website. You have to look on the card. I know I've got plenty of it. Yeah. Okay. So now bringing this over here, I'm wanting to put my flower in the middle there. What do you think? What do you think? And then that means that that's going to go on the front, doesn't it? Yeah, I reckon it does. Okay. So we'll put that to one side because we've got plan B. Plan B is this, and I want some of my greenery, shrubbery. And what I think we'll do is we'll just place it into there like that. Obviously, we're going to stick it down. Stick it down, and then done it so that there's sort of, well, it's hardly greenery. The goldery is all the way around. And then when we stick that onto the centre, it just looks about right, I reckon. So let's do that. Let's take that all out again. Do you do that when you first start to do a card? You have one idea of how it's going to be, and then when it actually comes to it, it doesn't turn out like that. Still, I suppose that's only if you admit that it wasn't how you were going to do it, eh? As always, never put glue all over the place. I only put enough that I think is going to actually hold it somewhere. I like to have movement on my cards, and so not movement so much that it falls off, though. Don't want that. But let's do some of that. And then just realised I can hear an alarm going off, and I hope it's not in here. Can't work out really where it is. Oh well, it'll wait, won't it? Yeah. So then in between those spots, I'm going to pop my aster leaves. And again, just, oh, hold on. Just noticed a little sneaky one hasn't cut through there, or hasn't been poked out. Just going to pop that on the top. So although it's looking a mismatch in the middle, it won't look a mismatch when we put that beautiful flower on the centre. So just put one down there, and our final one up that side. And I'm going to put my hot glue gun on, she says. Thank you. Didn't want to play, because I think that that's my safest way to be sure that that lovely flower stays stuck, because we don't want it to be wafting about in the breeze, do we? Okay. So I'm going to put some hot glue onto the centre of my flower, like that. And then that I shall press down with my ball tool, only really to give it the pressure. No, I'm not moulding it in any way, I'm just popping it down onto there. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to get my Stamford die set back out again, because there's a beautiful middle bit. Loads of dies in the die set at all, but it would fit beautifully in here. So I'm going to pop that exactly into the middle of that one. And this is only really so that we've got a little bit of a pattern going on the front. It's not totally necessary by any means. I just think that it would look nicer. So I'm just going to pop this through. It's funny, you suddenly sort of see more of it. Do you know what I mean? You see more into it, think, oh, wait a minute. So that cuts out beautifully. Lot of detail in these dies. A lot of stitched detail, as well as the sort of more, well, lacy bit, but I was going to say holes. Oh dear, that's not very very artistic just to call them holes, is it? Anyway, so, and then my beautiful sentiment can go in the centre there. So let me just get some sticky specs. Whoops. If there's any sticky left, because there ain't a lot. I kind of can see that there's not a lot on there. I'll give it a go. I'll pop it there. So this is with all the little sticky dots, and hopefully picks up enough dots to be able to stick that down. But of course you could use your ordinary glues and whatnot. So just, so, you know, if I'd have cut that out twice, like I was saying at the weekends, wouldn't have been so fragile to put on here, but all is well, apart from the T. Come on, little two, thank you. I really have lost out when I'm talking to it. And so that is going to go on the front of my card. And because there's so much dimension going on in the centerpiece, I'm also going to put some foam onto the back of that. I think it looks a little bit flat if I don't. So I'm just going to pop a little bit there and there, just to stick that to the front of my card. So just take off these pieces and pop a little bit of glue on. So it's a kind of a simple card, but it's also quite an involved card. I think you'll agree, though, that we can squash all that down. You will agree that it just does look pretty special. I think I would, to be honest, I'm now going totally over the top because I'm now thinking, do you know what? I'd like to get some snowflake corners. I got any there? No, I haven't. But I'm now thinking I'd like to get some snowflake corners and put them in the corner there. But no, I'll leave that bit to your imagination. So this is the square seam box made into the proper bespoke card, finished card, rather than doing it as a card front, by the fact that I have put the lid on as such, or the spine on with the actual bit. So you then can write in there, or you could write on the back of it. Okay, used the antique gold card. I used satin vintage gold for the shrubbery. And I've used the classic poinsettia stamp. I'm afraid to say that neither of those are available anymore. But as I said, all of this is sort of like, you know, if you've got this sitting in your stash already, hopefully you will find something that you want to do with it. I'm loving the way that that kaleidoed. That's probably a word now. I'm not sure, but I think it probably is. And that means that it's been inked and foiled in my Kaleido machine, and I think that that gives it a really lovely finish to it. So there we go. So would I make a card for the box? I think you probably would, to be honest with you. You could fit it into a bigger envelope. I'm not quite sure if I've got an envelope here. Yeah, I've got a 7x7 envelope, and in all honesty, you couldn't put it. It comes out as about a 6x6, but you couldn't put it in a 6x6 because it would be too small for the depth of this. So yeah, it does fit in a 7x7. So if you don't fancy making an actual box for it, a box in a box in a box, you could keep on forever. But yeah, it's quite sturdy though as well. You know, there's a lot of pressure that these corners will take because it is so perfectly made, and well, I don't know about perfectly made, but you know what I mean. It's so well designed that you've got all of this extra bit here and everything, so it works out really well. So I have a workshop this afternoon with some lovely ladies, still having problems with post, I'm afraid, and I do know that some of the ladies that have not got their packages yet, which is, I'm just hopeful that it might come in your post this morning, but I will have to be messaging you very shortly. Now, before I go though, I just wanted to tell you about Sunday, because Sunday's going to be just a little bit different. Sunday, I won't be here live at 11. However, there will be a video coming on at 7 in the evening. And I know that sounds a really little bit double Dutch, but there is a live launch at 6 o'clock. And because I can't be there in the morning, it will be at 7 o'clock that you can nip over to me and have a look at all the gorgeous things. So you do need to set your diaries and your stopwatches and your alarms and your reminders all for 7 for me on Sunday instead of 11. All right. So just to remind you. Okay. So have a great day. Look forward to seeing some of the others for you later on. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care till then, everyone. Bye.